how to keep thinning hair looking fuller without fancy products. It used to feel thicker, even if you didn't do much. You'd wash it, maybe run a brush through while watching the news, and somehow it just worked. But now, you might find yourself adjusting the mirror, lifting at the roots, wondering if it's just the lighting or if your hair really has changed. You're not imagining it. After 60, hair often loses some of its natural fullness. The strands get finer. The scalp becomes more visible, and styles that once held shape now fall a little flatter than you remember. Here's the good news. You don't need fancy products, thickening sprays, or complicated routines to bring back that sense of volume. Sometimes it's the smallest shift, a new part, a better drying habit, a smarter pillowcase, that makes the biggest difference in how your hair looks and feels. Today, we're exploring how to keep thinning hair looking fuller using simple strategies you can try at home. No heavy serums, no extra spending, just thoughtful changes that help your hair show up in its best light. And somewhere in today's video, you'll hear a tip most women haven't considered. One that has nothing to do with what you add and everything to do with how you angle. If you're curious about low-fuss ways to feel good in your own hair, like and subscribe to Elder Insights. And comment 1 if you've noticed your hair thinning, or 0 if you're still figuring it out. Let's begin with one change that requires nothing new, just a new angle. Tip 1. Change your part for instant lift. Let's start with something simple. Change where your hair parts. If you've worn the same part for years, especially a center part, it might be time to give it a gentle shift. Hair gets used to falling the same way, and over time, that repetition can make it lie flatter, especially near the scalp. But when you move your part even just an inch, you lift the roots in a new direction. That subtle shift creates instant volume, especially around the crown where thinning is often most noticeable. Why does this matter after 60? As hair gets finer, the scalp becomes more visible. Flat spots stand out more, and that familiar part line, it can start to feel like it's working against you, not for you. Switching it up encourages lift right where it's needed, without a single spray, mousse, or volumizing foam. What makes this better than product-heavy fixes? No stiffness, no sticky residue, no trial and error. Just your hair, responding naturally to a small change in routine. Try this. Next time your hair is slightly damp, use your fingers or a wide-tooth comb to create a soft side part, slightly off-center. Tilt your head gently while you do it. Let the hair settle in the new direction as it dries. You'll notice a little extra lift at the root, especially at the front. This isn't about hiding anything. It's about letting your hair move with you, not against you. And if you've been feeling like your reflection's been looking a little tired, this one step might brighten your whole expression. Because volume doesn't have to shout, it just needs a little space. Up next, a way to add fullness at the crown while you sit and sip your tea. No heat, no tugging. Just soft structure where it counts. Tip 2. Use soft, heat-free rollers at the crown. So you've shifted your part. Now let's add a little gentle lift, right where thinning tends to show up first, the crown. One of the easiest, no-fuss ways to do that? Soft, heat-free rollers. These aren't the stiff, sleep-on-them-and-regret-it curlers from the past. Today's versions are lightweight, foam-based, and designed for comfort. They're perfect for adding volume without damaging delicate strands. Why does this work so well after 60? Because aging hair isn't just thinner, it's also more sensitive to heat and friction. Blow drying at full blast or using curling irons every day can cause breakage, especially at the crown, where the hair is already under stress from brushing, sleeping, and styling. With soft rollers, you let the shape set gently while your hair dries naturally. No high temperatures, no pulling, just gradual, root-lifting support. Here's how to do it. While your hair is still slightly damp, not dripping, just towel-dried, section off the top portion of your hair. Take a few large rollers and wrap sections back and away from your face. Then let them sit while you go about your morning. Read, sip your tea, maybe do a few stretches. After 30 to 45 minutes, remove the rollers and use your fingers to lightly lift and smooth. No need to brush it out. You'll notice more shape and movement around the top of your head without a single drop of product. This approach avoids buildup, saves time, and helps reduce that flat spot feeling many women talk about. And the best part? It feels like you're doing something kind for your hair, not controlling it. Because fullness doesn't need force. It needs softness and patience. Next, let's talk about a trick you can try the moment you step out of the shower. No gadgets, just a towel and a new angle. Tip 3. Let hair air dry upside down with towel protection. Now here's a trick that's as easy as flipping your head, literally. After you wash your hair, instead of wrapping it tightly in a towel or combing it straight down, try air drying with your head tilted forward. This small change can make a surprising difference in how full your hair looks once it dries. Why does this help? When you flip your head forward and gently towel blot your roots in that position, gravity naturally lifts the roots away from the scalp. As your hair dries in that lifted position, it sets with more body. And when you flip your head back up, voila, you've added volume without heat, sprays, or effort. It's especially helpful after 60 because aging hair tends to lie flatter at the crown and cling more tightly to the scalp. Drying it upright encourages that pressed down look, but air drying upside down gives the roots a break and a boost. Here's how to do it right. After washing, gently blot your hair with a towel. Avoid rubbing, just pat and press. Then flip your head forward and softly press a towel around your scalp, especially at the crown. Stay in that position for a minute or two. Let the roots begin to dry away from your head. Then let the rest of your hair air dry naturally while parted off-center or clipped loosely for shape. No need to blow dry. No styling products required, and no breakage from brushing wet strands too soon. This method avoids the pasted down look that fine hair can take on and gives you softness and shape instead. Remember, it's not about doing more, it's about doing different. And sometimes a change in direction is all your hair needs to find its bounce again. Up next, how the shape of your cut can quietly do the work so you don't have to. Tip 4. Choose haircuts with built-in movement. Let's shift from drying habits to something even more lasting, your haircut. When your hair starts thinning, it's tempting to grow it longer to make up for the lost volume. But ironically, longer hair can actually make thinning more noticeable. It gets weighed down. It drags the eye downward, and it often exaggerates flatness at the roots. That's why a cut with built-in movement can be one of your best tools for looking fuller, without doing a thing after you leave the salon. What does that mean exactly? It's not about going super short. It's about having soft layers in the right places. Layers that lighten the ends, lift the crown, and give your hair natural shape, even when air dried. These kinds of cuts matter more after 60 because your hair changes in texture and density. What once held a blunt edge now might frizz. What used to fall neatly now clumps or separates. Movement helps hide that inconsistency by giving your hair permission to shift, flow, and frame your face instead of just sitting still. Plus, the right cut reduces your need for daily styling. No curling irons, no root lifters, just hair that moves and looks fuller because of it. Here's a simple at-home test. Next time you're due for a trim, ask your stylist for soft, face-framing layers or a textured bob with gentle tapering at the ends. You're not asking for volume, you're inviting it. And the result? Lightness, bounce, hair that looks like it has somewhere to go, even when you don't. It's not about hiding thin hair. It's about letting it move enough to speak up again. Next, let's talk about something you don't do during the day, but might be flattening your hair without you even realizing it. Why is this extra important after 60? Because hair becomes finer and more delicate with age. It doesn't bounce back from rough treatment the way it once did. That flat spot at the back of your head that shows up in the morning, it's not just gravity, it's fabric friction. And unlike thickening sprays or overnight masks, a satin pillowcase is a one-time shift that supports your hair every single night, without adding anything to your routine. Here's how to try it. Look for a pillowcase labeled as 100% satin or silk. Real silk is pricier, but satin works beautifully too. Swap it in for your usual pillow and give it a few nights. You'll likely notice your hair looking smoother in the morning, with less breakage, fewer tangles, and more natural lift. It won't magically give you a new head of hair, but it will help you keep the volume you already have and avoid losing it to your pillow. Because sometimes, doing less while you sleep lets your hair do more when you wake up. Now that we've covered daily habits and subtle shifts, let's bring it all together with one final reminder. This journey isn't about chasing fullness. It's about choosing ease, comfort, and the confidence that comes with seeing your reflection on your terms. Here's the truth. This isn't about chasing the thick hair you used to have. It's about working with what you have now, gently, intentionally, and without all the noise. Every tip we've covered today, changing your part, using soft rollers, drawing at a new angle, getting a cut that moves, or switching to a satin pillowcase, has one thing in common. They let your hair speak up without shouting. No heavy products, no high-maintenance fixes, just subtle shifts that help you feel like you again when you look in the mirror. Because yes, hair changes. It may be thinner, softer, more temperamental. But that doesn't mean it's gone, or that it can't still carry confidence. You don't need to hide it. You don't need to fight it. You just need to listen to what it needs now. At Elder Insights, we believe thinning hair isn't the end of the story. It's just a new chapter, and one where ease, lightness, and self-trust matter more than ever. Your hair still belongs to you, and so does how you choose to wear it. If something from today's video helped you see things differently, leave a comment below. Which tip felt most helpful? Was it the pillowcase, the part switch, or something you'd never considered before? We'd love to hear from you. And remember, this isn't about fixing. It's about feeling better with what's already yours. If you found value here, like, subscribe, and share this with someone who deserves to feel great in her own hair again. We'll see you next time, right here at Elder Insights.